Good evening, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Half of the country almost already sleeps, I guess. But another Thursday and another amazing topic ahead of us.
Okay.
Are we all okay?
Perfect. The audio and video.
Can you come in a little bit kind of in a... People don't see you.
The audio and the video works. I just had to double check really quick. Let me just see if it works on the other, on Facebook. But you can go ahead and say hello to everyone.
Okay, hello everyone. There you go. Echoing again, right? Whatever. So let's do. Today we have a very interesting topic to go around. We do have to talk about why the dogs suffer separation anxiety, right?
Yeah, so thank you everyone for leaving your comments and for checking in and for sharing your feedback. We really appreciate it. So a lot of the viewers wanted to know today, when all else fails, when all the advice from the trainer, such as exercise your dog, take him out, tire him out, don't make a big deal about coming and going, when all those things don't work, what can we do? What is it? Where does it stem from? And yeah, just give us your wisdom.
Oh, my wisdom. It's kind of like talking about separation anxiety from the standpoint of the canine psychology and the human psychology that are very closely connected to understanding how the animal consciousness and human consciousness are related to one another. But before we dig into the why my dog suffers separation anxiety, we should know like what anxiety actually is. Is he scared? Because the anxiety is a high level of uncertainty with a predicted negative outcome. So by the dog suffering the anxiety, we might predict that the dog do have a consciousness because they might predict a negative outcome of a separation. So if we are separated, something bad gonna happen. Otherwise, the dogs are not entering the state of separation anxiety because they are bored, because they don't have what to do, or they are missing us. They are entering the state of anxiety because they're afraid. The question becomes like, what would they be afraid of, and why the fear enters the mind or the consciousness of the dog, and under which, on the which level? So how do we know that our dog suffers separation anxiety? Is that we can leave them home alone. And whenever we leave the house, there is something to happen. What can happen? The dog can bark over and over and over. The dog can ruin something, like chew on something. He can pee and poo all over the place. Or whatever outcome might happen, that it's not usual behavior when we are together. So whatever is not usual behavior that dog doesn't do when we are together, but he's doing it, or like a dog is doing it when we are separated, is a sign of separation anxiety. Not only is separation anxiety exists in a form when we are separated, but anxiety of a dog its own can be expressed in a lot of different symptoms. And by training the dogs, putting them through a training, putting them through different forms of the conditioning, certain symptoms can be healed. But then the core of the anxiety and the behavior doesn't shift, and we are not actually rooted in that dealing with the cause of the anxiety. The anxiety just going to shift the symptom to something else. So the dog would start peeing all over the place when we are not together. Then we would say, oh, he's marking the territory. We would give a logical explanation of why the dog is doing that. Or he would never poo when we are together, but when we are outside the home, when we come home, there is always some surprise. Or he would not chew around when we are together, but when we come home, there is occasionally something that destroyed. Or he would not bark when we are together, but when we are out, the dog constantly barks or pants or screams or kind of just even digs next to the door. So the purpose of dogs going through this is not about what is going to happen to him, but the problem for the dog in the dog's mind is what's going to happen to us. So the dogs are concerned about our inability to deal with the life on its own. And by doing what we do, by everyday actions and our thoughts that are actually generated on a level of the energy that the dogs can pick up because they are in tune with our energetic field and electromagnetic field of our brain that raise the consciousness that gives foundation for the thoughts. So when we are thinking about solving some problem and we don't know the outcome of that, and yet we always keep repeating same problems and same mistakes over and over and over, the dog's gonna question our ability to lead our life and our ability to lead the pack, to lead the family, to lead the community. And because of that, when you go out into the world, only thing that can happen to us is that we're gonna be either killed or wounded, or whatever gonna happen to us is because they are not around to take care about us. So that's why the dogs, when they are together with their owners, specifically the ones that are very anxious, would be very content. So the completely opposite way of behavior would be present when the dogs are together with their owners. They're going to probably lay on a back, sleep very easily and peacefully, also wanting to be close to us when we change the room, when we change the place from one place of the room to the other. They would just go there and then lay next to us there, and then we would move to other dog. They would follow us and lay there. And probably they would always kind of just look at us with one little eye opened, like a mother is looking after her child. But that's actually wrong concept. The dogs are not the masters of ours, neither they can do and they can be, because the dogs can't make this man-made world or human-made world work for them and in their behalf. It's actually opposite. It's working completely against their understanding of how this life operates and how the mankind or the humankind is able to navigate through the life without living the life in tune with their own wishes and strength. That also leads to, again, very important portion. We also need to go into archetype of this sacrifice, where the dogs actually want to be close to us because they think that we are not able and not capable of taking care about ourselves, because that's what we, with everyday actions, show them that we are actually doing. How? By staying in a marriage you don't want to be at. By staying at the work you don't want to be at. By staying in a place where you don't want to be. Like staying stuck, trying to reinvent yourself over and over and over and over and over without achieving that ultimate goal of the life called happiness. The dog doesn't need too much to be happy, but a human do. Mankind and humankind do need a lot to be happy, because we are so afraid of the only way to happiness that's actually called sorrow and sadness. Unfortunately, the tendency of the life is to achieve happiness as a state of mind that's actually always present, doesn't depend on the outer circumstances, and nothing can pull us from that state of happiness. Because if you would be asked, like, what would you love to have in life? And then you would say, I would love to have more money so I can live nicer I can buy the house finally. I can pay out my mortgages. I can come out from all kind of debts. I can afford my children to go to a better school. I can afford to go to some holidays, to spend more time with the family. So, but why would you need that? What is the purpose of having a home, paying off the mortgage, allowing kids to go to a school and things like that, better education? Is because we think that money is connected to all of that we will be able to afford in this living in this material world. And once we will be able to afford to that, to us or to someone else, we're going to finally experience happiness as a state of mind and as a constant state of being. But we tried that. We make a little more money, we pay off mortgages, we allow to our kids to go to the schools, we married the rich guy because it's, that's how mom advised us to do. We did everything by the book. We finished the school, we find a job, we do everything, but somehow that happiness doesn't come. Oh, and then you would try to, we would try to put that facade that everything is okay, everything is perfect, I'm happy, I'm content. Somehow the dogs by our side gonna experience anxiety. And why? It's because the facade we are putting as a shield in front of the world to show how wounded we are, how fragile we are, how uncertain time we live in, and we try to control everything over and over and over, trying one more time, a little harder, to make the same mistake, expecting to get a new outcome. It will be very, very, very dangerous for our life. And if it's dangerous for our life, it will be dangerous for our dogs too, because without us, they can't leave this world. At least that's their perception, because we are their world. We promise as the owners and the masters and the doggy moms and doggy dads, we promise to our dogs that yes, that's what we want, and that is what we want, what we will do for you. We will be there for you. That's what we promise them when we take them away from the mothers, when we take them as a babies from their mothers, in our beautiful fullness of the love and compassion life next to the dogs. We would buy them oftentimes from the breeders, or we would go to someone needed to buy them from the breeders or to take them first time. And then after that time, oftentimes they will end up in the shelters. So someone going to rescue them. So now you have all of that trend of people going to the shelters, but those dogs ended up in the shelters by someone mistreating them or didn't know how to do better with them. But someone was the first one to take them away from their mothers when we was thinking it's time to do that. And when it's the easiest and most humane way to take the puppy away from the mother. So, but we don't see it that way because it's normal. That's so normal that we would just, go somewhere, take a puppy from their mother and replace the mother and become a doggy mom or become a doggy dad. But that comes with a certain pay. That action need to be kind of paid for. And we oftentimes sacrifice because of that without even consciously being aware of that. But time comes, the check comes to be paid, and we need to deal with the consequences of those actions. More our consciousness raised about how the life in between the dogs and humans operates and on which foundations, easier we would be able to deal with the consequences of our relationship. Is that make sense, or at least... explains a little bit.
So you're saying the dog is not worried and they're not scared for themselves. They're more worried about the owner in...
Yep. The first thing when your dog is having anxiety, the first thing you should think about is which kind of life you are living, and find a way to fix it in a way... Okay, there you go. Donna, thank you so much for your question. I think we could, you can read this one. Okay. Just a question here, just a little thing here to kind of elaborate on. The dogs suffer separation anxiety because they are scared for us, and there is a reason why they are scared for us, and we are oftentimes aware of the reason. It's just too painful to deal with the reason. So Donna, thank you so much, and this is a question we oftentimes get. It's kind of like, how can I help my dog? He's my emotional support dog, and now I feel so sorry for him. He is me in a dog form. He has extreme separation anxiety, and it's all my doing. Not knowing then that is not going to have a dog for that. How can I let him now be a normal dog? That's very deep statement, very honest and brave statement, and I applaud to your bravery to share this with me, because this is exactly the first step that we need to become aware of. We need to become aware of that, and then actually all the actions you need to take after becoming aware of that is exactly what you are doing now, looking for the help. And until we will have an attention on a dog, we would try to fix a problem of the dog, where actually the dog is a consequence of our emotional need that's somewhere deep within us lives a little wounded child that never got healed. And now it's just time to take a responsibility of the life and to understand that we are grown enough, that we don't need anyone to care about us, that everything is on our will and decisions to find a way and to liberate ourselves finally from those cobwebs of the past. When we take on a dog, and we need to address and call the actions by the real name. Emotional support was a very big trend, and we would always kind of, oh my God, I need emotional support because I can't go through this period of my life with such an ease, and I can't turn to anyone around me. I tried a lot of therapy sessions and things like that, but somehow nothing works, and my family is in a certain way impacted with my traumas and with my own anxiety, and now I think that my dog is going to be my therapist, where actually the dog's like a little child. It's going to mirror whatever is going on within me that's not healed. And at that point, my own anxiety becomes even bigger anxiety the moment when I understand that instead of my dog healing me, actually now I have double anxiety living within me and within my dog. So it's not anymore the simple way of living once we take such a big leap and responsibility. And we always try to find a way to merge our life and everyday responsibilities with the coping of this survival mechanism within us to kind of try moving on, and aside of giving and providing to a dog everything that we need to do. So as a responsible owners. And that's what actually is happening there, is that somehow this psychodrama that start to interact within us and that we become actually aware of, like the same what's going within me starts living outside of me, that's actually oftentimes, if we really want to be honest, presents such a big level of anger that kind of like, I didn't have you because of this. This should be something that I needed to heal and to move on. And why this is not happening is just why I was just starting to talk about that like a little earlier. It's because that old inherited archetype of the sacrifice. Old civilization, ancient civilization, not so far away, like some pagan religions on some level, and a lot of pagan civilization that were how you say that, that were worshipping different gods did require a sacrifice in order to please them. And it's not unknown to our history that a lot of civilizations were sacrificing the children for the, they were taking the children to be sacrificed in order to win the war, in order to please the gods, so the weather would be good. Or all the time, the children will be sacrificed, or the humans will be sacrificed for something greater and good to happen for the entire community, entire civilization. And that embedded a lot within our consciousness as a civilization, as a mankind. And what happened today, let's observe it from that perspective. The dog are in tune with that archetype because as the youngest in a system of the family, they do expect to be sacrificed for the greater good of the family itself. And for them, it's a destiny. It's nothing wrong with that. What they're scared of, it's going to happen actually opposite. Because of we take them to be our emotional support. That means that someone that takes care about me is on a higher level of hierarchy than I am. So it means that if my dog needs to take care about me, that means that the dog is responsible for me. It means that the dog is my master and I'm his slave. In the dog's consciousness, that's how it looks like. And if the dog embed themselves in the mankind archetype of sacrifice, they would exactly expect for us, if we are on the lower level and grades than they are in the little pack, for us to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good of the community. And that is what they are scared of. That is where they kind of click in this tremendous high level of anxiety, especially when we are not together, for them to be scared that we will never, ever come back home. And from that perspective, the dogs ends up predicting something that we are showing them. It's predictable that we won't come back. In the world of the dog, that would be that because why would we separate from the dogs? There is only 3 reasons. To go take a food, hunt, or steal something from someone else, go see where the food can be found, and protect the territory that we are finding a food on. That's exactly what we are actually doing. We are not going actually to hunt, but we are going to a pet shop to buy the food. Before we go to pet shop, we can't go without money. So we need to go somewhere to find the sources to buy the food. So we have an extra step in order to provide the food. And on the other side, we need to fight and protect that place where we are looking for the money or income source so we can keep providing the food. But because of no matter what reason, we are not doing what we do want to do. Who is the biggest obstacle in fixing this thing? Is our own brain, physical brain of ours, keeps information that are crucial for our survival. Because if we made it so far, for example, we experienced whatever terrible event in our life 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 5 years ago. Some of the events we might be remembering, otherwise are out of our consciousness, because sometimes we maybe just forgot them because that was the easiest way to cope with them. So what the brain thinks is our reality. We are still alive. We are still alive, and the only physical portion of our brain takes care about our physical existence. The brain and the physical existence doesn't care about our emotional state, doesn't care about our thoughts, doesn't care about anything else. The physical body, it's only interested in a physical survival. And out of that manipulation, we can raise one entire discipline called medicine that is looking at people only as a collection of the cells and the collection as organs that interact in a certain way that it can be, if we transplant the organ, then the body can live. Yeah, the body can live if we transplant the organ, but what happens to the memories? What happens to the dreams? What happens to the scarcity? What happens to another dimension of the energy that penetrates the new body? And that the mind actually gets as a memory once we, and it's a known psychological event that for the people that had saved life by transplanting the part of the body from the other donors and things like that, they would physically survive. But what is a mental consequence of that? What is a dream consequence of that? What is a fearful consequence of that? What is an experience consequence of that life? No one knows, because in that particular thing, no one cares. Because the only thing what's important is to survive, physically survive. And that's where the body prevents us from moving on. It's because if you ask your brain, should I live the life without fear? Should I live the life without anxiety? Should I live the life of the happiness? The body would say back, I don't care, because you are still living. You are alive. And then the consciousness, the soul, the spirit need to direct the body in the different direction, because how do we feel? It is a physical reaction of our body. That's what triggers the reaction of the body, and our physical emotions is a biochemistry that works in our body. But what triggers the biochemistry? It's a consciousness. It's a brain, and they're the thoughts. The thoughts that we are thinking, and they are predicting the negative outcome because we already went through the experience. And we are afraid that those experiences are going to happen again. And oftentimes, as we talked in these sessions, is that our thoughts are not only our thoughts, because a lot of them we inherited or from our mother, from our father, from our ancestors, that we don't know, like third or fourth generation, we don't even know who they are. We might go to the DNA test, and then the DNA test can tell us, oh, you are partially Canadian, and you come from England and Sweden and Balkan and this and that. But how that relates to me, because I don't know the names of those people that are making my life possible. I don't know nothing about their feelings. I don't know nothing about their destinies. I don't know nothing about that first person that came on the boat and transferred itself from Europe to America. I don't know why. Maybe some of the stories would be relived in truth, but maybe some of them would be fairy tales. And oftentimes, what I find here, working here in America with the people, with the dogs, that a lot of family secrets and the family traumatic events that are kept from their children, in order to survive as a coping mechanism and survival mechanism, now live in our flesh and bone, and we don't know where those anxieties coming from. So, how can I help my dog? Complete answer to that would be, I can share with you, because all of this that I'm talking to you is a theory. We call it harmonic resonance. We call it in our Pure Love and Harmony, we call it harmonic resonance, where we actually are in harmonic resonance with our dogs, and whatever the truth of our life is, the truth will come out through our dogs as equally as it comes through a life of our children. But our children at that one point, when they become consciously aware about life around themselves, they got the possibility to change that life by using their consciousness and directing it differently in the different direction, and then changing the outcome of the inheritance. The dogs can't do that. And that is on the other side. A lot of scientists that are dealing with the with the consciousness of the animals are questioning: are the dogs and are the animals conscious? And if so, on which level? And if the consciousness, and should the animal consciousness be analyzed through the prism of human consciousness? So, how we experience this harmonic resonance in the practice is through so-called order of pure love and harmony. The order of pure love and harmony has its foundation in the clinical therapy called family constellation, and that is my how can I say, it's my contribution to this expansion of the family constellation. And what we are doing now, what I'm doing now, is I'm actually based on exactly what you are telling here, like how can I help my dog solve the separation anxiety by using a theory of the family constellation that when the dog and human interaction is in place, we call it harmonic resonance. So what do we do with that information of I'm finally ready to deal with my anxiety because I want my dog to be free from saving me. I need to save myself so I can take care about my dog, not to have this double drama going on now. So the family constellation therapy is something that I very strongly I was working into becoming a family constellation therapist for 7 years now. And lately, like 2 years, I'm transferring all of that knowledge into a human-dog relationship. So to know exactly how your dog is mirroring your emotional state of mind and the body, we can put together family constellation, or actually harmonic order of harmony. So to see what is the root cause of the anxiety and the fear that the body senses, and that fear that we can control because it's already taken by the hormones and we are kind of like not aware of how to fix it. The awareness of consciousness and consciously understanding what is a root cause of that relationship with me and myself first, and then with me and my dog, is a healing on its own. So once the secret, what is, because usually it's always a family secret that is buried, the pain that is too big to be seen, but it's a healing on its own. Because exactly from all of those hidden secrets, we are later on, when discovered, we are gaining the biggest support. So whatever was the biggest obstacle, and whatever was causing that amazing and tremendous, how can I say, fear and anxiety, when turned around, when acknowledged and accepted, becomes a biggest support and biggest stream of life energy that gives some unnatural boost and changes perception of how the life actually operates, and gives you a clarity about what would be a next step, even if that's something so drastic as, change the whatever it needs to be changed. Once the secret is accepted and without judgment, because the past can be changed, but then the biggest strength comes from putting ourselves in order. That's why we call it an order of harmony. So where is my place in my family system? So when I stay there at that particular place, I'm in harmony with everyone. And once I reach that state within my own family, then I will give a place for my dog to be at his place, because he doesn't need to guide me anymore to that particular place of the harmony where he sees me. And why the dogs know where we need to go, it's exactly, they're questioning us all the time, over and over and over, why you are not going there, why you are not going there, why you are not going there, why you are not going there. And everything that they are doing actually is guiding us like a little how you call that, that you need to follow, like a little angel, taking us to the darkest places of our life, because exactly at that place is our biggest strength that we fear, and that because we are not able to face the strength, we fear anxiety. Don't forget, there is an amazing quote that says that the darkest cave we fear to enter holds the treasure we seek. So I hope I explained to you in a lot of words how can you help your dog. It's but you already did. This is crucial for the healing. The healing already actually started with this brave statement that I don't want to do this to my dog anymore, and I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to shift the focus from my dog's behavior and taking him around to the trainers and trying a lot of things to fix his issue, where actually I recognize that his behavior is a consequence of my emotional state. So thank you, Donna, so much for your how can I say, bravery would be the perfect word that actually does belong at this place, because that you are at the path of healing already with the sentence you wrote. So congrats to that. And if you want anything more than that, you are pretty welcome. We are now on the Facebook chat, so you just kind of like write me a message, and I'm gonna give you my phone number and email address so we can stay in touch, and I can navigate you from there on. Because we get always the clients, and always we get in touch with the people that are forced to do something rapidly because everything they tried. Oftentimes, the highest level of the anxiety of the dogs can turn into aggression, and that's the kind of like a state where the dogs oftentimes need to be put down because there is nothing more we can do, or they hurt someone, and we think that there is nothing more that can be done. However, there is always a place of healing, because that is exactly what the dogs want. They'll become aggressive towards humans or towards dogs because they can't cope. They become angry, but not angry on the dogs or on the people. They become angry on themselves because they can't find a better way to communicate with us. They don't know how. They tried everything, and then we did everything around to train them so they don't behave in a way that we don't approve. However, the reason why they behave, it's not because they want, but that's the only way they can communicate with us. And sooner we understand that what we did to these animals are actually on a high level self-healing way of us begging for help and not having whom to turn, because the psychotherapy took like 20 years and nothing's happened, and I'm still going every single week, and I'm paying $100, and it's still ongoing process, and I'm always fixing something, and there's always something, and then they would say, yeah, it's like an onion, you'll always find something deeper and deeper and deeper, and they would say, will I ever find the happiness? And they would probably say yes, and it's all based on theory. But the theory of the mind and theory of the soul and theory of the body, it's connected from on some other way that I was pretty much blessed or cursed to discover because of my interest in the animal world, because they did save my life. They did save my life because I was suicidal when I was young, because I was bullied in a school and in family. And the only way for me to cope with that was to turn to the animals. So I stopped talking, and I was completely interacting with the animals on the level of silence. So the language of the silence is pretty much very loud to me. So that's why I later on become an opera singer, because I want to be loud to a people, because I was missing a time talking to a people. But the silence is the place where I hear the most. Because that's probably that was my survival mechanism, is that I was able to communicate with my dogs without telling them a word. Without talking to them, I was getting from them everything I wanted. But then I needed to develop that, and I didn't know that's some gift or that's something different that other people are not doing, until I didn't start it actually to work professionally with the dog and turning to teach my kids, the clients as a students, how to do the same. And then I was actually seeing that it's not so common to the people, that the people are usually, that's not how the people interact with the dog. They would buy all kind of collars that are strangling the dogs. Then you have all of those strangling leashes and shock collars and all kind, only to do a conditioning. But the conditioning, reconditioning doesn't fix the problem. And then the anxiety just changes its problem from one to the other, from the other to the third. And then you keep bringing the same trainer back because the trainer fixed it for the first time. Oh, the dog don't pull anymore. Oh, but now he starts barking. Okay, fix the barking. Oh, now he pooing all over the place. Oh, now fix the pooing. Oh, now peeing. Now, and then castrate the dog because maybe he's just marking the territory. It's everything around how do we behave, where do we stand, how do we interact with ourselves first. And then how to gain strength to execute the right actions in our life. So we come out from that misery. And then occasionally the dog's gonna be liberated because they did their purpose. They liberated ourselves from ourselves. Huh?
Yeah, that was very profound, very deep as always, and a lot to unpack there, I guess, to handle the effect, examine the cause. And it also reminds me of what Maharishi always talks about, the principle of the second element. If you have any type of situation that you're going through, or he always gives the analogy of, let's say you're in a dark room and you want to get rid of the darkness. You're never going to do it by just focusing on the darkness. You have to introduce a second element, for example, light, to eliminate the darkness. And that reminds me exactly of our problems, stress, anxiety, the daily toils of life. If we just focus on those things, we're never going to get anywhere. But if we, for example, introduce systemic constellation work, if we get to the root of it, we can really begin to heal ourselves and really live a complete and normal life, which is what it's all about.
Life full of freedom and happiness as a state of mind. And then that becomes a constant, the struggle of the life disappears. But then because of that, we really need to know if there is a great, I heard it from Bob Proctor because I used to go to his profound programs, and one of the quotes that I don't know actually who he quoted was like, if you want to be free, if I want to be free, I need to be me. Not me that my mom think I should be. Not me that my wife or my kids think I should be. Not me that my friends think I should be. If I want to be free, I need to be me. But then better me know who me is. So maybe it's a good time to close with this nice sentence. And for everyone that needs a little deeper insight and or a private time, to find a way to heal the anxiety. We have, in my book, I revealed about the Dogs and Awakening, I really revealed a lot of case studies from my practice of the harmonic order of harmony, that we had an amazing case when the anxiety, when anxiety comes in a place, we had an amazing success in healing people with aggressive dogs, and the people with the dogs that had experienced epileptic attack, because the epileptic attack is the highest level of the anxiety stress. We don't know kind of modern science or the veterinarian science, neither in humans. They don't know what actually triggers the epileptic attack. They are all aware of how epileptic attack happens in the biological and hormonal way, but no one knows like what triggers it. And from the level of the family constellation and the harmonic order, the epileptic attacks and all kind of seizures are highest level of how the body expresses the anxiety. So, and once the source of the anxiety through this practice and through this constellation work is revealed, when the secret become visible and gives a light and gets place to have in our lives, it becomes our biggest support. So I had a tremendous experience with the dogs that had like 10 seizures a day, overnight almost, going with none. And that was like one of the amazing cases when we did a Constellation, and then the guy flew from Amsterdam, I think, to Belgrade, and we had an amazing Constellation and work. And then he went home, and 3 days later he said, like, I can't believe, neither the veterinarians can believe, because he ended up trying to find a resolution in the holistic approach, because the veterinarians told them that there is they can't do nothing. If they increase the medicine that the dogs don't react on, they're gonna kill him by increasing the medicine. The only way it's kind of to put the dog down. And he was so connected to the dog that he didn't want to do that. So he flew to me, and then we met and we sit together. We did a Constellation, and like in like over a couple of days, he already didn't have 10 but 3 seizures, and in like weeks he lost seizures. And he said, like, now I can completely track when the seizures are gonna come. And he said, like, it's so interesting that when I fail to do responsible or responsibly act in my family or in a business, couple of days later, his dog gets seizures. It's because they're so much in tune that they know that every action has its consequence, that they are so protective of us. They want the best for us. And they said, like, why you are not using the strength you have? Because, I'll repeat again, if you want to be free, if I want to be free, I need to be me. Not me that my mom think I should be, not me that my wife or kids think I should be, not me that my friends think I should be. If I want to be free, I need to be me. But then better me know who me is. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being so patient and quiet. I always try to have this very interactive, but thank you for your support.
No, thank you. Processing, listening. See you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash the like, drop us a comment, and see you next week.
Bye.